Hello and welcome to Built on Air, a podcast and video series about all things Airtable. I'm your host, Zoe Vanderplew, and I'd like to thank our sponsor, OpenSide. OpenSide's newest product, Onto Air Forms, is the Airtable form solution that you've been looking for. Visit openside.com to see how it can take your Airtable workflow to the next level. And for a limited time, get Onto Air Forms free when you purchase the Onto Air Actions Zapier connector. Joining us this week on the show is Sherman Sanders, founding member of the Gryphon Games and Comics Cooperative in Fort Collins, Colorado. Now in its 13th year, Gryphon has evolved beyond a store into a popular play space. They host programs most days of the week for Magic the Gathering, Dungeons & Dragons, and much more. Most recently, Gryphon is working on transitioning to a co-op to further their connection with the local gaming community that they've cultivated over the years. Sherman found that Airtable is the perfect tool to manage all of these game nights at Gryphon. His base he demos for us, Gryphon Guild Ventures, tracks event dates, player attendance, and even rewards for frequent participants. His shop employees are trained to keep the base updated during their shifts via forms, so Sherman can enjoy his evenings off and know exactly how game night went. Sherman also shares another base with us, Forbidden Lands, which is a slick RPG campaign organizer he built for his own personal games. He makes great use of the Kanban view to share info with his players that he can update live as the campaign unfolds. Check out BuiltOnAir.com to sign up for a mailing list where you can get weekly updates on new Built on Air episodes and other fun Airtable things.
So, real quick, this is a list of all the players. So, what did I say? There's a bunch. I think we're right around 500 people who have participated at least one time. What this screen shows is the first name, last couple initials of the player, how many nights they've played. So there's a couple things in Airtable. You aren't allowed to. Gosh, it's been so long since I've ever looked at this, but we have to take the total nights and then copy it over so that we'll properly reference something to give us our max level.
Got it.
What that interaction is, but we have to do that weekly. So that's one thing I'd like to see improved. But outside of that, it's pretty much automated. We do let me see, game nights. So these are our game nights. So like these are the people who played, and these are the people who. This was our very first night. We had 60 people show up the very first time we did this, and it's stayed in that 40 to 50 range pretty consistently. But every single person who participated and who ran those games. So that's how that looks. But for what is this? Form 2. So this is pretty much all my employees are looking at. It does not look pretty, but it's on our side of it. So they just throw in the date. So on the 6th, they will make one for the 6th. They will just go down and start typing in names, and that is super fast. And then add whoever DM'd and submit that, and everybody's updated. So yeah, it's pretty easy. I have a handful of other things going on here. Like I've got. We hand out tokens as magic items for the players. So all the rewards come in the form of like physical items that they can carry around to their games. And then I've gone through and I've made a point value associated with each item. That's not a very interesting one, but so basically the players can buy items that they own based on what level they are, if that makes sense.
And is the level based then on the attendance that you track?
Exactly. So we've got a level chart here. So basically, this shows what players have made. Yeah, look at David here, 47 games. That that shows what level they've made it to and what rewards they have gotten up to that point. We've got a max level here. You show up for your first game, you get to play a first level character. You show up to your second level game, or if your second game, you get to play a second level character, and then it starts to slow down after that. So So we potentially have people playing 15th level characters. I don't think that's happening. I think they're still in this 12 and 13 range mostly.
So this is, I guess, probably just like a person who's ignorant of D&D asking, but what, if you play at certain levels, like, is it you just get these additional items, or like what kind of benefits do you have to, like, what's the dangling carrot, right, to continue to attend and level up?
So this is a large part of D&D. If you've ever done any kind of online game that has a character involved that like gains stuff, this is what D&D is all about. It's about building up your character, getting more powerful, fighting more powerful monsters, getting more powerful. So it's this cycle that a lot of players really enjoy. Honestly, D&D is not my favorite game, partly because of that. So I do role play, but not. I don't have that interest in that kind of grindy. I'm better, so now I'm going to fight better stuff. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but whatever.
Give the people what they want, right?
So this is what people enjoy. So, but that's what it is. If the characters get more powerful, they have more options. They can throw bigger spells. They can do all sorts of stuff. Yeah. So that's what it is. Yeah. I don't know what else to tell you about that. I do have a couple other things in here. Let me just throw through some things. Cool. Player reporting. So players can, if we're seeing issues with something, people can come in and be like, I'm seeing this event. This player is doing this in a game, and then I'll just go and talk to them and hopefully get that handled. We've got some suggestions. If people want to make suggestions, we started a sponsorship program. So we were having some issues with focus for our younger kids who are participating. So what we did is we said, if you can get 3 different people to come in and play with you, then you can say they will say that you can play at an adult table. Otherwise, we just kind of put them at a youth table. Just they're not super disruptive to the other players. Right. And they have fun still, so I'm not concerned about it, but it's a little different. I just started this. I've got a unique item request. So one of the rewards that happens is players can. Did my camera cut out?
Yes, but that's okay. We can still see your screen.
Right, good.
Although we are missing your wonderful face, but that's okay.
I think this camera is shot.
We have watched it die its final death, maybe.
It could be. Anyway, so what was I saying? So one of the rewards people can get is at some point they get unique items. They've come enough that I'm going to invest in them and like spend some time figuring out exactly something that fits one of their characters or something to kind of give them something extra that is nobody else has.
Cool.
So that's kind of the Guild Ventures program.
No, that's awesome. It's great. And it is something like you mentioned, it's like your staff can just fill out the forms and then you can just take a peek at it whenever you want to kind of check the pulse on everything. And you can have Saturday nights to yourself then if you want to. Yes. Yeah, no, it is good time. And I've run plenty of games myself. I do enjoy playing. So it's not, and we did also talk about you have another base that you might be able to show us, the campaign organizer. Do you want to take a little bit to kind of walk through that and give us some context?
Yeah. So the campaign organizer, this is something that I put together for my personal games, and I've done it for a couple different campaigns. The one I have here is definitely the prettiest, and that is on account of the Forbidden Lands game that they put out. They've have some great art in there, and they've put a lot of time into making a something that's very accessible, and I can share with my players. So I was excited to do that. Typically, when I build one of these, I will do like some basic web searches online and be like, I just need images of an elven fighter, and I'll just put here's this guy, and now here's his image, and that's that. But these are like a lot of things from the company. Like if I bring this guy up, this is a This is the Hollows. This is kind of your starter adventure site for the main campaign, and it's just a town, but the players get to have kind of a look at what that actually looks like. So that's really fun to have. And basically what I've done here is I've created something that I can, let me see what's good here. Let me get out of this view. I've created a line item for basically everything that the players might find in the near term.
Cool.
And if I create a session and I link to it, it then populates the session and gives them the opportunity to look at it on their phones or whatever. So they can. This is the view that the players get to see.
Cool.
That's what's shared with them. So they can easily go through and see everything that I've put out there. So
love it.
Read a session synopsis. We've got that. There are some interesting linking things. Like I've got these are linked from another table. So I have to put all of the description that I want them to see in the initial description, right? So like
right in that primary field,
right?
So you can see it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of how I've done that, and it seems like it works pretty well. It keeps everything pretty organized, and the players have something really pretty concise that I'm able to put into different drop downs in the Kanban, and I don't know, I like it.
Yeah, you've done a great job. I think, kind of one of the underappreciated components of Airtable, I think sometimes is the views, and you've done a really great job here of using that Kanban view with, the images and stuff to just make a really pleasing looking, view to sort through.
Yeah, it's really fun. I love I love just going through it. Like, oh yeah, this is like coming together. Look at that. It's got the
right. Yeah, like you're creating it, technically for your players, but also like halfway for yourself. Right. And just the joy of organizing everything.
Definitely helps me keep my own thoughts organized. One thing that so I've been role playing, oh God, a long time. Since I was 6. So
nice.
one thing that's really cool is going back and looking at games that I played in many years ago. And I love having like these session synopsis and things. And this is, I'm typically not that organized of a person, but I'm creating a record at the same time of things that have happened. So
right.
This really serves a double purpose of not just informing my players, but also like having something that I can look back on years from now and be like, oh yeah, this was pretty fun. We had a good time with that campaign or whatever. So it's cool. Yeah.
That's really cool. I love it. And it's so true where you're always, you build something or you're into something, you're playing a game or whatever, and you're like, oh, I'll remember this. Like, I don't have to, write it down. And then I always find myself I wish I had written that down somewhere where I could like go back and look, because you're right. It's not just seeing what's on the screen, but also you can kind of get a little nostalgic about everything, and that's really fun. Yeah. So how long did it take you to kind of build the space and get it to a point where you were comfortable sharing it with your players?
So this one was really quick. I mean, I think I did most of it in a night.
Nice.
Yeah, but that's just because I've built a couple others, so I kind of knew exactly I knew a lot of what the format was. Every time I'm learning new stuff on it all the time. I don't know everything by a long shot. There's a lot of depth in Airtable, which I really enjoy. I actually use Airtable and it has taken me a long time to get as competent as I am with it.
Right.
But I don't mind the time because I use it in my business as well. So doing the things I really enjoy allows me to really do deep dives on stuff and like figure out how to put some things together and make it presentable and make it so that I can share it with my staff and stuff, and they can navigate things easily. But yeah, I don't think I would be nearly as invested as if I wasn't doing something that I like genuinely enjoy doing. but
Right.
but taking those lessons back and applying them to the business is really cool, because I can be like, oh, I know what I need to do right here. Just pop that together real quick, and now I have something. I built 3 new forms for my players a couple days ago, or my players, my employees a couple days ago. So they are, So it's right now I have I use an Airtable for all of our daily stuff in the store, and like all of my employee records and stuff, they're all in one Airtable. So
Nice.
It's like, I've got all that information, easy to do. And then, build a form and link to their name or whatever. And it's, I can see what they're up to, and it's all in one place. And I would be hard pressed to be able to do what I need from Airtable anywhere else. I don't think I could. So.
Right. Yeah, it really is such a, flexible tool. And I really like what you mentioned about how, it is, since you are able to kind of work on, work projects and personal projects in the same space, it really does give you, kind of the tingles, right? You feel like you're creating something fun or like learning something new that's not just, something that you'll tinker with once and then kind of jettison it to try another app or something. It
right.
does have some staying power for sure.
Yeah, I that is exactly right. I'm definitely an optimizer, and I really try and find like things that are going to work really well for a particular application or whatever. And this Airtable has just allowed me to like really focus on one thing for a long time now. I don't feel like I need a bunch of other stuff. I've got like handful of programs to do like, scheduling and stuff like that, because that's really hard. but I don't have a bunch of other stuff at this point. It's pretty nice. I've really enjoyed it. So
awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess tell us, to wrap up, what is next for Gryphon? You mentioned you guys are kind of in the final processes of becoming a co-op officially. So what does that kind of mean for you guys, and how will it, affect your growth going forward?
Right. So the industry, like I mentioned, is really challenging, and cooperative is something that I've looked at over the years. And I think really what it amounts to is I wanted something that would get the community involvement and get the community investment in choosing to have a store like ours continue to exist into the future.
Right.
We've got we're a 9,000 square foot store. We've got a lot of play space that really doesn't necessarily generate the revenue that it needs to warrant its existence. But from the very beginning, what my wife and I wanted was a community hub. We wanted a place where players could come and feel, comfortable and have fun and meet new people and all these things. And I don't think that's going to exist without stores like ours. So, and I can't think, obviously you can generate a ton of revenue in other ways and subsidize that kind of space, but that doesn't feel right to me. I mean, it shouldn't be somebody's hard work and volunteerism and donation to make a space like this exist. It should be a effort by everybody who's using it, is my opinion. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's really what I'm hoping to see out of this transition. We've already got a lot of great people invested in the store, and we've got a board of directors, and we've got membership that we're taking care of daily, and that people are interested. And I think it's a cool opportunity for the community to make sure stores like ours continue to exist into the future, and serve as that third place where people can come and meet and enjoy themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. From what how you've kind of been describing the store, it kind of seems like a natural next step for you guys, right? Since you do kind of put all of this time and attention into really building the community and not, just being a place with like some shelves with some stuff to buy on them.
Right. Yeah. that is yes. That's not what we're shooting for. So, just got to maintain that space. Yeah.
For sure. So let our viewers know where they can find you online, and then also if they're in the Fort Collins area, where they can go to come visit.
So we are Drake and Shields in Fort Collins. We're Fort Collins, about an hour north of Denver. We are. Let's see. What was I going to say? What was the question?
Where can we find you online?
Online, right. Yeah. So sorry. So that's where I got stuck. So basically, we're in, like I said, a transition. So there is our current website is www.gryphongamesandcomics.com, but we are transitioning to gryphon.coop. So much easier to find. So hopefully that website's up here in the next month or so.
Very cool. Well, Sherman, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us and kind of show a little bit about how you've, kind of crafted your business and personal stuff with Airtable. It was great talking to you. Yeah,
I really appreciate the opportunity. It's a cool program, and I hope to see more things in the future from it. It's cool. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.